What's up, team? Welcome back to the huddle, your weekly playbook to get forward progress in your flooring career. I got a little feedback going, but this is where you belong. Welcome to the team. With me today, Mr. Jose Late Gonzalez and Daniel Gonzalez from Preferred Flooring out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is our Blue Collar Cruise Week. So we're going to be cruising topics that are in the construction or blue collar industries that we thought might be a little bit entertaining and or informative. Wrap a little bit. How you guys doing today? Nice to have you both on the back with us. It's
I
exciting.
know. About time, right?
No
Well,
kidding.
I understand. I mean, like you guys are out there making it happen, and that's what the huddle's all about anyway. So you guys are living what we preach on here, and that's absolutely amazing. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the audience and myself has missed you.
Well, thanks for having us back. Feel like we were on vacation for a second.
All right.
I'm
Well, you
a little
guys are
late
both in
today.
the vehicles. You guys look alike. I do like the Paul learned how to play. Okay, so there's a little story about Paul learning how to play fantasy football. This is mostly true. I was 0-5, and Kevin was like, "Dude, come on, like make some trades or do something because
Do something.
you, your whole team is like on bye week this week." I said, "All right." So I got in there, did a little magic, and won. I was like, "There's my first win. Look at me go, Kevin."
Now you just
And
gotta
I
get a
think,
spreadsheet. You gotta get a spreadsheet to see how that happened.
oh, bro, I would go nuts if I got too involved in it. I'd be doing nothing but watching ESPN trying to win, win, win. If I get too involved, I'm trying to win the thing. I know a
Yeah,
lot of guys are already that way, but
I've never
it's been
participated.
it's been fun. I get calls from different guys that are on the in the league asking for trades and, well, you're not doing nothing anyway. Why don't you give me your kicker and your quarterback? And I'm like, dude, come on now. I might get back in it, and look at me. I think I scored
Yeah,
111 points this week. So
this is Tanya's
I
first
was
year
on
doing
it.
it too, and she goes and follows some people that are supposed to be professionals, and then they give her the wrong advice, and then she ends up getting all mad and watching her phone all day.
Bro, Kevin says told me, he's like, yeah, I forget which team it was, but he's like, he got auto drafted and hasn't really done much, but just make sure he has players, and he's like undefeated. So all you professionals out there that think we know what to do, because I actually took the draft pretty seriously and was looking at it and doing all this, making sure I had guys for the bye week. But then, just like a GM of a real football team, I had to figure out how to handle all the injuries and all that crap. So anyway, enough about fantasy football. We we're gonna start the blue collar cruise off this week with a little story about how the U.S. how the U.S. construction has left the world behind. So, give you an overview. The U.S. has been really strong in construction versus the rest of the world. So, the article cites that the industry has faced its share of challenges here recently, with construction costs still sitting close at 40% higher than February 2024, which was
Oof,
pre-pandemic.
oof.
But while other countries didn't, like China, Germany, United Kingdom, South Korea, um, all of them are down in their construction, and some of them, that's a big part of their GDP. So uh, China's construction sector is sluggish, with declining demand due to property market downturn, reduced infrastructure investment. That's because a lot of people talked about this. Is that China really government funded a ton of infrastructure. So you go over there, it's awesome, but there's just not a lot of business happening. It's almost like a really nice painting. uh,
Can't just set it
Germany.
on the wall and take a look at it.
Looks
Yeah,
cool.
it's like a really nice building that doesn't have anyone in it. You know what I mean? Or awesome highways, but no one can afford to drive from place to place. It's that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it says Germany, which is Europe's largest economy, also contracted, did a very steep drop in housing and commercial projects alike. It looks like it's still a pessimistic outlook for them. The bottom line is the US had kind of a construction surge. Many of the factors causing the slowdowns in other nations, like rising material costs and economic uncertainty, are still present here. But some of the issues are just, well, even I guess some of the issues are even more pronounced in the US, but we just kind of handled it differently. In 2024, it says a market survey from Turner and Townsend, a global real estate infrastructure consultancy based in the UK, reported data from 91 markets, and the U.S. construction spending in this same time frame has grown more than 41%. Now that's interesting. This is where I wanted to get to talk about. It grew 41%, but construction costs are up 40%. So is that
Hmm.
growth because everything just costs more? And so because they're calculating this
It's
on
just based on the
dollars.
dollar amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
they're
did
they're saying they're saying the increase in dollars spent is growth, right? But growth is not dollars spent. Like how many new businesses are coming out
well,
of
it's
that?
dollars spent, but it's not more. It's not more square footage or
Right,
more
correct. It might be
construction.
less.
It's
It
more
might be less
dollars
square
spent.
footage. Might be less square footage, but more dollars spent because of the cost. That's crazy to think about it like that, isn't it? Holy smokes.
Yeah, it seems like they presented this, and this is from Construction Dive. If you guys are interested in checking out the article, but construction spending grew 41%. Construction costs are up 40% over the same time frame. So, uh, does that to me that means we really only grew somewhere? I mean, this isn't perfect math, but let's say 1%. So, which
1%.
is
Yeah.
still uh,
Still growth.
but I think they're also the other side of that to look at is that um, in comparison with other countries, their construction costs rose as well, but they did not keep up. You know what I mean? Their construction growth slowed because of the increased cost. To me, it seems like we maintained current, let's call it projects out of the ground or remodels or whatever, um, but just at a higher cost. That's what it seems like.
It,
So we're
it, it
still
seems like
stronger than other countries in the world at the end of the day. The other leading construction companies of the world or construction countries of the world. But
so we're
so
staying steady. We're staying steady, but we're not necessarily making more money. We're just staying consistent.
We're staying busy.
Yeah.
yeah, seems like we're
They,
staying at an even kill through the that whole time frame, but not really growth. The way you think of growth, like it's almost like you know I don't know, measuring your kid when he's in a hole and then having him stand up and
like, oh yeah, I
measuring him
know.
when he's not in a hole and saying, "Yeah, he grew."
Man,
And
this
Jorge
is
says, also fuel costs, and that's part of, I'm sure, in the calculation of the construction cost is the fuel cost. But
and I'm sure you do too, but if you look back at what you're spending for the business in 2018 to 2019 for a very similar project right about now, I'm pretty sure you can calculate the percentage of increase and then the loss of, I don't want to say revenue, right? Because with that 40% increase in everything, you're still generating revenue, but the profit what does the profit look like on that? That's what I don't think they're really talking about. They're looking at the revenue, the dollars and cents going out. They're not looking at how profitable companies are at that percentage of increase.
Yeah, and we talked about this before. There were some major drivers on this initiatives, like the $1.2 trillion Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and then the Inflation Reduction Act that was 369 billion, and then the 52
Oh, yeah.
billion CHIPS Act. So all that was like federally funded growth, and this article even points out that that's played a significant role in the U.S. construction industry's success. So
And is
you
that really
pass on
success
these
though?
huge. Well, stay. It's success. It depends on how you gauge success.
Yeah.
If you're doing it based on um, if you're doing it based on comparison, so like a success in a football game is only in comparison to the other team. You can
Well,
score three points, but if the other team only scores zero, it doesn't score any points, you still win. It's still a
right.
success. So I
Or
think from that perspective, it's a success. But from the health of the industry, I'm hoping that, at the end of the day, that what this, kind of signals and seems like where this article's leading is that the strength of that could carry through when the construction economy kind of recovers on privatized spending. Because, like I said, the article points out very clearly there's there's three significant bills that have added, well in excess of a trillion and a half dollars to the construction of, to that construction number. So
man, that just
it
burns me a
also
little bit
says,
because go ahead.
go ahead.
I'm saying
No,
that
you
just
go.
burns me a little bit because so when you said federally funded, right? I think in comparison, if I'm going to relate it to something that I did for a while, related to softball. When we used to play ball, we used to get penalized for home runs, and when we did hit too many home runs, we used to have to award the other team um, runs. It was called progressive runs. So if we were only allowed two home runs or three home runs a game and we went over that, the first home run gave the other team 1 run. The second home run gave them 2 runs. The third home run gave them 4 runs. And then it doubled every time. And that's almost like when somebody says federally funded, right? I think about where are those funds coming from and how are they going to replenish that stock? So every time I hear that, I think about where is it
You
coming
and
from
me.
and how are they going to get it back? And if they federally fund it today, that means that in the next 2 years, they're going to figure out how to get that back in there, so that way they can federally fund some more to get that back in there. So it almost
Yeah,
it
that goes
feels
all the way into
weird.
the government spending thing. This is that machine is not going to be stopping. If you
Yeah,
think that we're
yeah.
going to quit spending, this machine has just gotten going. There's nothing stopping the this increase in spending. We just print more dollars, tax heavier, and I mean,
Find more
there's
things to tax on.
yeah, I mean, but that also is what other countries are doing too. So you're
Yeah,
talking about when you start comparing these things, you're like, if the whole world's doing it, then where you have to have something that's gonna be like the baseline that brings the Legos down, so to speak. I don't know the house of cards down. I don't know if there is anything. Even the venture capital money that's really invested in construction innovation was about 80% of all of that available funds from venture capital, so private money,
hmm
80% of that was invested in the US. And that's because, you know, we can be very proud as Americans that we still are the innovation capital of the world. Like that money is particularly going to go to where innovation is being, where it's thriving, where their money can thrive in innovation, and that's
I,
the
I have
U.S. still,
noticed,
baby.
I have noticed that the U.S. is getting pretty good at taking products built outside of the country into the U.S. and figuring out better ways to use them.
Well,
That's pretty
it's
innovative.
been done. It's been done to us for
Oh yeah.
decades and decades. So says,
Here's
yeah. Oh,
my
Roland says
phone.
the building is going crazy in his area. Big warehouse and office space sitting empty. Sooner or later, they will have to stop. Yeah, I don't know when though, Roland. I don't know how they're going to do it. That China just keeps building empty buildings. I hope we don't do that. I hope we build based off demand, but you just never know.
Well, we're
So
seeing a lot of it turned into affordable housing.
Yeah, yeah. The
we just had a project here. You guys got projects there that we had a
everywhere,
project
dude.
here that was stacked for it was slated really for like condos. It's a nice building downtown and it just got, from my understanding, got approved for affordable housing today or this, recently, I should say. You
Yeah,
guys
that's
got
what's.
that
And
too?
Yeah, they're
yeah, there's
converting
groups
old
over here
hotels.
that's all they do is that's their specialty is going and trying to get as much grants and government money as they can in order to build more housing because it is crazy how much. I don't know that it's necessarily a shortage, but since like Airbnbs and stuff, there's a lot of houses that no one lives in that they just
Yep,
rent
yep.
out.
Same thing with the hotels, and part of that, Daniel, is the census, right? The population. They're trying to increase population because you increase population, it increases tax revenue. You increase tax revenue, then you can essentially lower taxes in those areas. And in Michigan, we have more people leaving than we have coming now, and it never used to be like that. One of
Well,
the
that's why they're like over here, they're working on like they're building a new amphitheater and a new soccer stadium, and they're allocating a bunch of these taxes to these
yeah.
spots to try and get more people here.
I'm just trying to figure out what
And
you're doing, bro.
it looks
Me?
like he's
I'm getting
picking up
mail.
some mail. We got we
Yeah.
got we
Oh,
got
I'm
you're
real
stretching
here at
my
life
the
truck
office.
though, so
huddle.
you don't hear both of us.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth is a lot of this, the way that taxes and the influx of populations, if they would reduce taxes eventually, that'd be nice. But I've yet to see that happen. It's always, they get more people, they just spend more. So at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys have it there, but we have bridges and things that really need some attention. So
Mhm.
some of that infrastructure spending is necessary. It's one of the things, the interstate highways and stuff, that the federal government should be taking care of. But all right, so on to the next topic. After
Sorry.
we discussed, no, you're good. We can talk on one topic the whole time, but.
Right?
Uh,
Government spending, that's it. That's a whole episode right there.
That's right. And deep dive.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
we do know people that we have meetings with that's all they do is government work. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, like it could be lucrative, but
if you can get used to, if you're a flooring company or any specialty contractor and you get used to doing all that, you'd have to, like, we do a fair amount of government work, but we don't like the paperwork. Or hey, we should
We
do an
know.
episode on
I'm trying to see this. I'm not used to
spousal
being on my
spending.
phone.
But yeah, that government work is, I mean, you can get a lot of it if you specialize in it, but that's the key, is you really have to, for it to make a big difference. For us, we've done several projects and we have several projects at the moment going on the Air Force base here. But I'll tell you what, the paperwork, all the regulation, all the labor requirements on the jobs, it's been taxing to make sure, I know on our manager, to make sure that, I don't know who keeps clicking these.
My brother is clicking
That's
buttons.
me. That's me.
Just,
I'm trying not to do that. My screen
Well,
keeps
you're going to
changing.
do it. But the specializing in government work will keep you busy, and especially the next foreseeable future. This money's already been allocated, so if you're doing that, then you're going to have a pretty good stream of projects to look at. Moving
There,
on to talking about construction
there it
and
goes.
specialty kind of stuff, we have. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about a large company that does specialty construction, like a flooring contractor, specialty construction. So these guys are, it's Apache Industrial, and they're one of the leading specialty services companies in America for construction and maintenance. So they had originally, I'll just read this. It says, since its inception in 1967, Apache has evolved from a modest single location industrial painting contractor into a leading industrial services provider with strong presence in petrochemical energy sectors across the United States and Canada. Essentially, they evolved their services, and I thought this was interesting because we talked about this in flooring not too long ago about expanding your services to grow your company, and they've expanded into soft craft services, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. Scaffolding, insulation, fireproofing, abatement, coatings, linings, all kinds of things. So they've turned their little business into this pretty good size, like massive company, and it's all from the commitment, as their CEO says, to delivering superior services and long-term value to their clients. Understanding technology, another thing we talk about a lot on the huddle, plays a pivotal role in modern construction. We've invested in the latest technologies to effectively address our clients' needs. That goes all the way from embracing the principle that you're only as good as your people. So this comes into making sure you have in flooring, in any business, but in flooring, that means making sure you have the best guys and gals out there putting the flooring products in and providing awesome quality. But anyway, what do you guys think about that? This company's massive nationwide company out of a small single source painting company in 1967.
Well, first off, I want to say good for the owner, the
Apache.
founder. Yeah, good for them for finding a need in their area and then taking advantage of every opportunity that came their way. Because that you can plan for something like that the best you as good as possible and not end up like that. That's just like a series of events that they were able to capitalize on through and through and to evolve from the startup to where they're at now. That's an amazing story. I don't care who you are. That used to be what the American dream. That was the American dream that I was told when I was a little kid, how things could happen and how businesses started. Um, and now, it's you have to have a.
It's pretty inspiring.
It is. It could it still happen? Yeah. Does it still happen? 100%. But those are the people that have the foresight and understand what bucket they're dipping their toe in for that moment, right? And when to change. Those smart people.
Yeah, and they put a lot of emphasis on technology and people as their as what plays into their growth. They got 40 locations across North America, so
40, holy
that's a lot
smokes.
of, yeah, you got to be well
Hold on, like
well
PO boxes? Like PO boxes or like oh,
I don't think so, man. Uh
man, that's amazing.
yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And their growth, like anytime you're growing, Stephen concludes, the CEO, that Apache is still in a growth period this year. It's been exciting and challenging at the same time. So Also that growth, a lot of times people forget what type of work is behind the growth.
Yeah.
You ever hear that saying that like you work 15 years to be an overnight success? It's because like
Yeah.
people don't see the background work, and then all of a sudden you get noticed, and it's like, oh, this great company. What a great job they're doing. But all the hard work and challenges of growth. And I tell you what, with all kinds of changing regulations and employment stuff, it's that's a hell of a feat for them to have reached. So I thought that was pretty cool being in specialty contractors ourselves.
I think it gives you hope, right? Like how do you approach something like that? What's the next steps? What do you do? Is it worth it? When's the right time to make moves?
Yeah, this article's in Construction Today, and you can kind of read even deeper into where they place their values, and the workforce quality they've doubled down on. I know that we've talked about that a lot on the huddle here, and that the quality of the people you hire and that you train them up and all this stuff is so ultra important. And sometimes you can fall behind and not quite get there. I know the struggles of growing a business. So do you guys. And so someone to do that and have the foresight to be able to execute on that level. I mean, we got 2 locations and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it kind of
This dude's
reminds
got
me of
40.
when we were talking to Joey Zago when we were down over in Detroit, right? And from the carpet guys, and he was like, he started, going and selling door to door, and now he's got, I don't know how many locations he's got, but he's got a pretty big setup down there over in Detroit now, and it's just got
What did they
a
do?
It's the floor guys
Oh,
no,
gotcha.
the carpet guys, the
or
carpet
the
The
guys.
carpet
carpet
guys. I'm
guy.
sorry, the carpet guys. I think I got his hat over here somewhere. Yeah, the carpet guys, Joey Zago, and he was down at Ties the last time. I think we've seen bumped into him a few other times. We went down there for a train the trainer um, class, and he hosted, and that was the first time meeting him and just hearing the backstory. It's
Right,
people.
like,
He took a
and
chance on himself, is what it was, and it worked out.
So let's promote him a little bit. If he's knocking out of the park,
the
what's his is he a flooring installer crew? Be wise, call the carpet
no,
guys. So or are they a
no, he's
flooring
got
store that
he's a flooring retailer down there, and he's got an entire team. Like when we were at his building, it was huge, and he's got his own setup for training there now too, so that way his guys can
Yeah,
host trainings through
certifications.
CFI too.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Need more of that. We
yeah,
need
full
as
full on
many as
store. Full on store.
that's
He's
pretty
got a
cool.
commercial, residential, but like his showroom, like his whole building's a showroom. It was beautiful.
Pay your phone bill, Dwayne.
Probably in the area where he lives,
No
in the
doubt.
middle
He
of
lives out in the
nowhere.
boonies. Have you guys been there?
We were there
We
with
just,
you.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that. We were there. We were there together. Yeah, I've been
yeah.
out there a few times. A few times him blowing stuff up and riding four wheelers and going crazy out on Dwayne's property and other people's property around there too. Awesome place, and he supports education. That's one of the most important things is supporting the education of our industry. And there's a lot of movement. I'm really excited about how things are starting to progress with Jumpstart. We're about to add a couple hundred new jump starters. That's
Oh,
going to
I just
be
got my
awesome.
email this morning.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more. So yeah, I've got a ton of good news once we're getting them loaded and interviewed, and I could not agree more with that statement.
Right, like me next week, I'll be going down to America's Floor Source with the NAFCT, and we've got, I think, 12 or 13 people signed up to do the heat weld and flash cove training down there.
Where's that at?
America's Floor Source in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, that's Goldberg's place, right?
Yeah, and that's another guy that you can talk about expanding, right? Because I don't even know how many places he's got
I don't
now,
know.
but
He's got a
he's
lot.
like he was buying stuff up left and right not long ago.
Yeah, yeah, he's got a lot of places. Um, is that open to anybody? If someone's in the audience and wants to go and is in the Columbus, Ohio area, are they able to join,
I
or is it
think
for
that
his?
you can try nafct.com, but I think the signups ended on last week, Friday or Saturday.
They demand. They'll
Gotcha.
let you in. They'll let you in. But you have to have a prerequisite for that class, right, Daniel? Or is this
No, because it's a training too. So you can opt to
oh,
do the training or a certification.
Sweet.
awesome.
Well, if there's any of them that are just training and they don't have jobs, get them on Jumpstart. Hand them out a flyer. I think did we send you guys a flyer too?
No, but I'll print some and I'll
Um,
take them with me though.
I'll look right now. I was trying to log
You
on to the
should have got a
computer.
flyer that's got a QR code on it, so flooring companies can hang them up in their location, and the subs that work for that company that need help as well can hire off a Jumpstart just the same. So 21 Jumpstart. I love it. All right. Well,
Oh, we did.
sweet. Well, you can print that off and put it in your place. So I'm just going to share a photo. This article comes from Wood Floor Business article. I thought it was pretty cool we were talking about um, innovation. Check this out. This is I'm gonna kind of read this article a little bit, but this was taken in 1921, and this gentleman had the picture. But this is how they used to scrape floors by hand, wood floors, and get them prepped for, you know, to refinish a floor or even a new floor. And it's, I guess, a pretty famous article or a pretty famous photo from 1921. So it says by 1930, I'm not even going to try to pronounce Lewis's name there, but Lewis Floor Service, which operated in Cleveland for 50 years. He told the magazine that he started working for his father pushing a broom when he was 8 years old. I think a lot of us have that story that we started pushing a broom when we first got into flooring. I don't know about 8 years old and how the labor laws would uh, go
Bro,
for that in
I couldn't
these
even wipe
days.
my
But
butt. Couldn't even wipe my butt right at 8 years old.
No,
I wasn't
if
thinking
it's
about
your
floors.
kid, it doesn't matter. If it's your kid, it doesn't matter how old they are. Just put them to work.
yeah, I thought it was
Pretty
a pretty cool story about how this company grew, but it's really a testament to technology. We now have machines. They have ro- heck, they got there. I've seen robotic machines that are starting to, you know, for sanding wood floors that do it on their own. Like that part of the business, I don't know about the application of the finish, but that part of the business is getting uh, faster probably than most getting robotics. Anyway, so that is the cruise for the day. If I start another article, we'll probably run over. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed some articles. If you would like to see any additional different types of articles, we have a staff that, uh, you know, kind of scours all the construction publications and tries to find really cool articles. There is another one that I did not actually. Now I have to do this one. I forgot about this.
Let's
I
do it.
started off on on I've got to find it real quick. I started off on how we kind of left the world behind. Oh, by the way, you know, uh, thank goodness that longshoreman strike's over, eh?
It didn't last very long. I
They
guess
got
it
it
did.
taken care of. They got it taken care of. But this article talks about, and I'm just going to play. Um, I am going to,
The huddle's on at 4 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. Just answering this question.
Oh, he had another one
yeah,
too about keeping trainings and or it was more of a statement,
Well,
trainings
keeping
and
them
certification.
separate. Yeah, it was a statement, but that's why we have a 3-day training and then a 2-day certification.
yeah. I mean, the Go Career Hammer rating tracks all that anyway, whether it's a training or a certification. So it is separated, but from an efficiency standpoint, it makes sense to have the training, and then if you want to extend it for the certification, you can. So that's my view. But I'm not the full authority on it, but that's my opinion. Is that it certainly helps from an efficiency standpoint. Um,
Oh, he's
you
saying that
know,
they need to be separate organizations.
yeah, I think his stance is that
Oh,
there needs to be accreditation around certifications. Um, him, we have a phone call coming up or a meeting coming up here in the near future, kind of talk about what he is envisioning there, but
okay.
um, having a an accrediting company or organization putting a accreditation on a certification so that it's
It holds more
a
weight.
true, yeah, it's a true certification.
Was
uh,
it
there's plenty of discussion around that, and we can like get deep, because one of the problems is that we need more training and not less. And the cash crunch on being able to train requires, because installers don't just have the money, or at least has not seen the value. And he's talking about ANSI and ASTM standards for training and credentialing. Um, but we already struggle with getting installers to see the value in training, and
mhm.
um, taking time away from their skill that earns them money, then paying a fee to get the education, um, and then travel to wherever the training or certification is located. And with all those things that the industry has to deal with, I think some people are doing really good jobs in attacking this. And I think forward motion is most appropriate, and let the cream rise to the top. If trainings and certifications did get specifically certifications get credentialing around them, and the industry, the installer base, seen more value in them, uh, regardless of cost, then that's going to be where people go.
Well,
The market will
right. When
tell
you
you.
start talking about costs, that's what you have to start looking at. Like, I know we've touched on it before, but my buddy owns an electrical business and they go to the local community college for classes. So they pay $800 per semester so they can do continuous learning, and they're there, I think once or twice a week on their own time. When you look at what we have now, it's like the installers got to pay for 100% of everything, plus they have to travel, and then you're losing money. And it's
There's
like
a
one of our
lot into it.
certifications is a lot of money. So if we can start getting accreditation like through colleges and stuff, and it cuts the cost down, that's really the direction that it should go. And there's a lot of talk about that on social media right now, right?
Well, the bottom line
I've
is,
seen
because
plenty of posts.
yeah, because it's primarily our labor force is subcontract labor. It's independent labor. That means when you're not working, you're not getting paid. It's not like working
Right.
for an employee as an employee somewhere where your boss pays you to go get trained. And that is probably the largest hurdle to jump in our industry. We either have to build, we've talked about this before, we either have to build more value into the training and make it clear that you get this certification, or these, you bump up your skill level, that you're going to make more money and that it's provable. You either have to do that, or you're going to have to figure out how to get every sub to quit being a sub and every company to start hiring employees. Now, I don't know how to do that one, but I
Yeah,
do know
good luck.
if you format the industry around a skill, around the level of skill that you're paid based off of your skill level, then you have a better chance of making it work. Credentialing these types of deals to the trainings would just uh, I agree. He says it would legitimize the um, the trainings, but someone still has to do the grants for the financial aid and the stuff. And someone, if maybe he's talking about doing this, but someone has to do it. You know what I mean? We formulated our approach, and you guys know everything about Go Career. That
Mm.
approach was, let's just weigh the trainings based off of their merit to improve the installer's ability, and then give them that credit on a easy to understand score. That's basically, you know, a lesser training gets lesser weight, results in lesser hammer rating
Mhm.
for each one. So, I mean, that system works really well. It's in place, and we're obviously big proponents of it. But the fact is that we can't get away from is that out of the installer base, and it's over 1,000. I think Ben told me last count of active people on the network. Less, I would say 80%, I think is pretty close, are under a hammer. So we have to see the value in training first, because it's obvious that a large portion of our labor force does not see the value in getting the education. They'll work for someone, and I know you guys probably witness this yourself, but I've witnessed guys that work for somebody for 6, 8 months, and they're like, I want to be a sub, or I'm going to go do my own thing. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah, whoa.
take it take it back a notch,
Yes.
bro. I know you learned how
Yeah,
to cut tile and put it in thin set, but did you do layout? Did you consider grout joints? What about the substrate? Did you consider waterproofing? Did you have to do all this, or did the mechanic that you're working for do all of that? And then you learned the hand skill portion. There's a mind skill that comes after the hand skill. I mean, I learned how to cut in carpet long before I knew how to lay out broadloom carpet. you know, so
Agreed.
yeah,
There's a lot more to it, and you're right. And then even now, when we venture out and try to do something different or make a change or implement something, you're always like, are we doing it right? Can we do it right? But who can we call to ask? Or, how do we? I don't want to mess up. And a lot of people just don't. They just, I want that big check. They don't think about how that check is divvied up, and all the science and experience that comes with that person that they were working under for those 8, 9 months that made those projects run smoothly. Um, that's
yeah.
it's hard to
Well, and
recognize
hey,
that when you, what is that?
I agree. I was just going to comment on Jesus's comment that I think what he's saying is he sacrifices now and
it's
for his
delayed
future.
gratification.
Yeah.
We
It
talked
is.
about this
Yeah.
quite a bit, throughout the podcast, and it's delayed gratification. It's, I'm going to do this now, so that way later on you're comfortable, right? I know I'm doing everything right, instead of having to question it. And we've had guys come full circle where, we worked at a company together. They came to work with us a couple years later, and then they're like, all right, I'm going to go do my own thing. And it's like, they do know what they're doing, but and you ask them, it's like, well, what happened? He was like, man, I thought you guys were making money hand over fist. And then I started, and I'm like, dang, all these expenses. And that's what no one really prepares themselves for, I think. And that's why you
Well,
have guys that are on some of these groups, and they're like, this person is supposed to pay me and they haven't paid me in 2 weeks. And it's like, yeah, because that money sometimes takes that long to get.
well,
Yeah.
not only that too, it's the continued education, right? Like it, you can't only learn in your 8 hours at work. You can't only learn in that 40-hour work week, right? If you don't apply yourself and try to learn on your own time, you're never, if you can't learn on your own time and educate yourself on your own time, chances are you're not going to be that focused when you're getting paid from someone else to do it. You absorb better and apply and implement better when you do a little bit on your own. And that's the part that,
Well,
that
the
8 month
best of
thing.
the best of the best in most industries put in work on their own, like football players. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if you look at any sport, the best of the best, they're not just going to training camp, man. They're
Right.
going
That's a
to
good way to put it.
they're doing off-season workouts and working with running back coaches and quarterback
Yep.
coaches and physical therapy coaches, and that's their craft. And our craft is flooring, and
Yeah.
it's been more of an uphill battle than I ever thought it would be to get installers to really like embrace it. But eventually, I believe that the market's going to start doing that. The homeowners, the general contractors are going to start requiring, like, they want to know that the guys on their job are qualified to do their job. And I think that's starting to make a little bit of headway in the industry. You just see some chirpings about, like, if we knew how good if the guy was qualified or not, it would have saved us a ton of money in all this replacement and failure, which, you know, flooring failures in the US are somewhere around $3.5 billion. So
Mm.
this is not a insignificant number.
Right. And then
I was gonna show this video, but we got on this topic, and we love
right,
this
because
topic, and we're gonna finish it off with this topic.
yeah,
All right.
well, I want to kind of touch on this right here because he's still talking about, that you can get the financial aid from all these places, but then that just defers back to how every business is ran and it's all subcontractor based. And I don't want to throw a number out there, but I think the vast majority of, subcontract businesses like in the flooring industry don't keep track of their stuff the way that they need to. And in order to get one of these grants, they want to know all your history. Basically,
Yeah.
hey, I want to know from your inception, like, where did all this money go?
And another thing, and I want to add to what Daniel just said too, and because we went through this, another thing is that the way that those grants are structured and the way you have to keep submitting information in order for you to get refunded, because they don't just give you money, right? They reimburse you as you turn your spendings in, and a lot of it is not structured for Construction America. It's structured as if you were a corporation, and even uh, some of the businesses that are pretty well run don't have all those systems in place to be able to give them the information in the format that they're requesting it after they even qualify, and that would be us as one of them. And
Well,
we
that's one
were,
of the things. That's the hardest thing with grants and
yeah,
that approach. And I'm not saying it's not a worthy approach. I'm just saying it's not the end all be all. There has to be multiple facets of attack, because the financial aid and the grants and all of this stuff require somebody to track, file, uh, for these grants. And I know, just working with some of the training entities like the FCEF, for example, it's not easy, guys, for that to get a grant. There's professional grant writers for a reason. Like, it can be a tough go. So I'm not saying it's not possible. And I know there's some training entities out there that are working with us on Jumpstart right now um, that that will sorry, that comment I started reading.
Yeah.
But there that are working with the juvenile detention facilities, which I think is a great outlet for all trades. I don't This isn't
yeah,
just flooring.
like
I'm like,
a
these are
vocational
young,
program.
yeah, they're very young men and women in juvenile programs that are being trained, and flooring's one of them. And kudos to those people doing that work, getting out there and putting these programs together. But it doesn't just happen. Someone has to take the reins
Correct.
and go do it, right? So that's why it's easy to talk about, but it's hard to implement everything because it takes so much effort to make it happen. And someone's really got to have the financial capabilities to just do something like that. You don't make a ton of money doing that, like having
Hmm.
a
And
training
that's the thing.
entity.
Like we always we talk about working on your business instead of in your business, right? And it kind of, you can really see it these past few weeks when I've been in the field, because I haven't been able to focus on any bids or anything because I've been too busy. And then we are going to see a lull in work where things weren't bid, right? And that's just the nature of it. But it's, you have to be able to step out of that seat, and a lot of people just don't have that luxury.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I I've stepped back from my flooring company before, and it takes it takes a lot of kudos to all the flooring companies out there, the owners that are able to like structure their business to run pseudo without them, and they work on the business all the time. I have to kind of jump in, jump out. It's almost like hopscotch, you know, work on the business, work in the business, on the business, in the business, on the business, in the business. But um, yeah, so we have closed out the hour with our favorite topic of labor and our
the,
industry's
the crazy thing is, you were like,
approach
I
to
want to
this.
just do one more thing real quick. And then this
Real
topic
quick.
came up, and then we spent like 25 minutes on it.
Yeah, well, it's easy to spend, and we talk about it. It always comes up because what we have to realize in the audience, everybody watching, everybody at home, everybody at a flooring company or an installer watching this is you have to realize that this is always coming up on the huddle in different ways, and a lot of times it's spurred on by the comments. Why is that? It's because it's a root problem, and
Yes.
I have what I believe, not just me, but multiple people, a lot of people believe is a uh, antidote, but not a full on. It's not a cure. In Go Carrera, I believe that that program allows individuals to thrive in their industry in flooring and promote themselves from within. And Jumpstart's just one of our initiatives where it allows for both flooring installers, retailers, flooring companies to get on, look at the new recruits that are coming out of the training entities, and let's get them placed in our industry. So we're about to add a lot, you know, a lot of new jump starters are getting ready to get added to the program. And jump on, check them out, subscribe, and hire your next talent. These guys are showing, these guys and gals both are showing initiative that they want to be in flooring. So let's pick them up. They're not all going to work out, but you can also go on Craigslist and siphon through 30 line cooks if you want.
Yeah.
So, all right, fellas, as always, it was a pleasure. The Blue Collar Cruise continues to sail. The last video I was going to share was about it was an innovation topic as well, and it was this company in Switzerland built a bridge, like a full-on bridge for a
Ain't too bad.
highway that comes that diverts traffic over them redoing the road underneath. It was a pretty cool video. You can check it out on constructionbriefing.com. And the topic is traffic avoids road work thanks to a mobile construction site bridge. And it's pretty cool. It's literally like a mobile bridge. I think
It's
it's like a
just
mile long, and they just move
put it
this bridge
together, huh?
along as they redo this. They just move that bridge along as they redo the road underneath. It's pretty cool. If you're ever stuck in construction traffic, you know that would be a blessing here in our area. It just you just get detours. But anyway,
And then
Jose,
they close the detours.
yeah, then they close the detours. Jose Lake Gonzalez, thank you for joining. You weren't that late,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
So It was a pleasure talking to you and Daniel again, and having you
As
on the
always,
huddle.
yes.
This is one of my favorite days. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate the audience. If you are catching us on Facebook, comment, like, give us some love there. If you catch us later on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, a dislike, whatever you want. But let us know what we're doing that you love, and where you would
and that
like
you hate.
to see this go. So
Yeah.
yeah, love or hate us, just comment and let us know what's going on, and we will do our best to bring you the best topics in our industry. From there, gentlemen, I will
Yep.
catch you guys next week.
Yes,
And
sir.
again, it's Tuesday, 3 Central, and what is it, 4 o'clock Eastern?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done a lot of research. I'm really interested in chatting with him and seeing what where he sees that you can like implement it in a big way. It'd be an interesting conversation. Maybe we'll have him on the huddle and continue
Probably
this
should.
topic.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to have it again. So awesome, guys. Well, we will see you next week. Thanks for joining, and we'll see
Until
everybody in
next
the
time.
audience.
Thank you, everyone.
Until next time.